Alright, we're going to continue today with the Xbox method with when our a is equal to 1. So please add this to your table of contents. Alright, so when we look at this problem, you'll notice that this first term, there's no number in front. And so when there's no number, it's actually a 1. And that's what this means, when a is equal to 1. In algebra, when we have a polynomial like this, we say it's written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is the number in front of the x squared, b is the number in front of the x, and c is the number without the x. So we're still just going to do our Xbox method. So go ahead and draw your x and draw your 2x2 box. And so the number that goes on top, we're going to take the 1 times the 6, so it gives us a 6 down here, and then that middle number goes on the bottom. And so now we're trying to figure out what numbers multiply to 6 and add to 5. And so that's going to be 2 and 3, because 2 times 3 is 6, 2 plus 3 is 5, and so we can go ahead and put an x on them. And so remember, the first term goes in the first box, so that x squared. The last term goes in the last box, so plus 6. And then our answer to our x problem goes in the remaining boxes, so plus 2x plus 3x and so now we're going to look from left to right. What do these numbers have in common? What can we factor out? And so we can take a 1 out, and this has 2 x's, this has 1x, so we can actually take out an x. On the bottom here, the small number can go into the big number, so we can take out a 3. This one has an x, this one doesn't, so that's all we can factor out. Now let's look at the vertical. So they don't share a number other than 1. So this has 2 x's, this has 1x, so we can take out an x. Here, the small number can go into the big number, so that means we can take out a 2. And now we put it together. The x plus 3 times the x plus 2, and that's our answer. So let's try 1b on our own. So try x squared minus 9x plus 20. Draw your x. Draw your box. All right, let's look at another example. Here we have x squared minus 25. And so we just talked about this ax squared plus bx plus c. And so we have the x squared, we have the number, but we don't have that middle term. And so what's really happening here, this is really x squared plus 0x minus 25. So when we write it like this, we can still use our x box. All right, so again, we take this first number times the last number, put it on top, negative 25. And we take the middle number and put it on the bottom. And so now what numbers multiply to 25 but add to 0? And so we're going to have a 5 and a minus 5. So we'll put 5x minus 5x. And so our first number goes in the first box. Our last number goes in the last box. And now we just look at the top row. What do they have in common? What can we factor out? So they both share an x. Now we look at a bottom row. So the small number can go into the big number. So it means we can take out a -5. Now let's look at the columns. So it has a 1, so we can take a 1 out. This has 2 x's, this has 1 x, so we can take out an x. The small number can go into the big number, so we can take out a +5. So we only want to take out a negative when they're both negative. So since one's positive and one's negative, we always take out the positive. So now we put it together. And we get x minus 5 times x plus 5. Okay, now you're going to try 2b on your own. Let's try x squared minus 49.